You are listening to the C1 Radio Show.
Yo,
what up?
We're back.
And you just heard Church Clothes by Lecrae.
Yeah, they fighting
Why
right
being
now.
violent?
I don't know.
Yeah, we just had couples counseling. They over here fighting.
I'm not being
It's not
violent.
they. She's with me.
Now, Church Clothes
Church
is a
Clothes.
hype song. I get hype.
Well, this song is interesting because he was talking about a couple of things on there. He talked about people in the choir, hypocrisy in the church.
It's hypocrisy in the church.
I mean, that's what he was talking about.
Right.
Nah, not in the church.
No, we
We
perfect.
good.
So, I mean,
Perfect.
Shoot, we covered.
the
We
black
walk
church,
upright.
right, with the suits on and the big hats, and nobody can see. You know
How
what
is
I
it?
mean?
Why?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
wondering, could you get pick up satellite TV on them hats?
I don't know, man.
Like if you on Boston and you
Right.
wear one of them hats, can you hear my show
I
live?
don't know, but it's blocking the moon, so I can't see nothing.
I'm like, you're like.
But speaking of that, church clothes, and even thinking about why the church, focus on the outward appearance. That's one thing. And two, in the song he was talking about how he wears a snapback and people having issues. But then two guys in the choir are doing their thing, and then the minister is messing with the choir director, and then one of the deacons is doing some things with one of the trustees. So he kind of talked about a lot of different things in the church that we don't address. But yet, if a black woman comes into anybody comes into the church, hey, you need to take that hat off. Your skirt is too short. I don't like those heels. Your shoes.
Wait. Let me talk about this. 'Cause
Looking
I
like
remember-
Lil
I re-
Jezebel.
Right.
Well, I remember one time I went into a church, and the nurse who was seating me was so stank. After the service, I had to go up to her and tell her, if it was for you, I would have left the service. Like, you need to fix your face. Like, it was not even cute. She didn't like me for a long time, but someone had to tell her, like, how are you the first person that someone sees, and you're stank or you're judging or whatever? Like, how is that showing and exemplifying the love of Christ? Like, that's not. It's being stank. Like, and I can't tell you how many people, their excuse for living in the world and doing whatever they're doing is that they've been hurt by the church.
Right.
And it's like, it's frustrating because, granted, I did that at one time in my life. I was like, bump all y'all. At least I'm not a hypocrite. I'm going to act like I'm going to act, so my justification.
I can't see you like that though.
Oh, you can't?
Oh, wow.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm gonna mess around.
Remember,
She
this
like-
is the takeover.
she's like, look.
Oh.
Throw up the W.
I'm joking.
Nah, that's cool.
No, but honestly, I used to be like, okay, you guys are all hypocrites. Like, if I'm gonna come up in here, I'm not gonna act like I'm someone who I'm not. Like, this is me all day, every day, all day. I'm very transparent. But I had to realize, first off, I'm not their judge. You know what I mean? I can't judge them for what they're doing, but I have to live my life according to what God has called me to.
Right.
But that took some lessons learned and some heartache and all that other kind of stuff, because the church really did hurt me. And it wasn't just church hurt, it was institutional hurt. So it's like the church as an institution hurt me with their rules and regulations, and all I was a ready young person who was on fire for God, and I wanted to do something for God.
What the church bylaws say.
Right. You need to wait
Sit down,
25
shut up.
years. Women don't get ordained.
No, it took a long time, and
Matter of fact, sit 10 steps behind him.
Oh no, you have to preach from below. He could be up there, but
Right.
if you preach, you
You
have to
gotta be
preach on the floor.
be on
Like,
the
you
floor.
can't preach from the same
altar.
pulpit
Right.
that the pastor preaches from. But I'm not trying to disrespect anybody who does have those rules.
Right.
What I am saying is that it boils down to being a heart issue, and why is it that we want to treat people with disgust? Why is it that we look down on people who are not like us? Ultimately, when Jesus was at the well with the woman at the well, he knew all her junk, and he still chose to love her and give her everlasting life, that living water, but why don't we exemplify Jesus's attributes? And when we see someone who normally we would just be disgusted by, why don't we operate in love that only comes from him?
Well, even speaking of that, and a controversial situation is like the homosexuality in the church.
Right.
The thing is that when you think about the woman at the well, let's say, okay, the Bible says it's sin, right? But the one thing that it doesn't do, it doesn't give us a license to treat somebody terribly.
Right.
Jesus didn't do that. You know, he was like, hey, let me just talk to you for a little bit. I got this living water. And then he told her about the 5 guys that she was with, and the husband you with is not your husband either.
Yeah.
So, you know, he kind of did a reverse thing. And what we do is we call it the sin. You need to say that it's sin. And we don't hear that.
Like people don't know what their sin is.
Right.
Or like they don't know what they're doing. I
And-
mean, some people are oblivious. They,
Right.
you know.
They just don't know.
They just don't know. But you know what? Like, ultimately, it's like being able to show that love and be open to
Right.
working with someone. Like, I mean, I feel like people forget their testimonies all the time. You know, and the minute it's like you reach a certain status in the church, like you don't remember where you came from. And it's humbling to remember what Christ has brought me from daily.
Right.
I am not what I used to be. You know what I mean? And thank God I'm not, because I would have rolled up in here and shot y'all.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Well, you know it. You know. But you know the thing is too. But that
Not
she-
cut
she-
somebody up, not beating
Yeah,
on
she
you.
be rolling with the guns. Like,
Dang, man.
you feel me?
What's
Like,
up with you and death, yo?
you know?
Hey.
But you know, when
Christ
you look
brings
at
life.
when you look at that and think about it, it's almost like we forget that.
Yeah.
So when we pinpoint certain topics and certain things to talk about, let's say if these things are sin, you know what I mean? That's settled.
Right.
But the way that we exemplify Christ, we always want to say the way I exemplify Christ is for me to call it out. I'm like, no. Can you make dinner for that person? You know, can you take them Panera Bread and get them something to eat, and then y'all talk and then break bread and figure out what's going on? It's harder to do that, but it's easier to call people out. And I think that that's one thing we see in church clothes. You know, I think they want us to be a certain way. The whole preference to that is like, okay, not only do I want you to dress this way, I want you to act a certain way too. But the one thing that, you know, sanctification is a process, you know what I mean? So when you get saved, you not like automatically, yes, I'm on the mountaintop. I'm holding it down. Faith like a mustard seed. No, we got to grow into that. You know what I mean? And then, and then some churches are also big on paying the tithes. They focus so much on paying tithes. Some people are like, well, I don't even understand that concept. I feel like all church ministers are greedy and they're taking my money. So you have to like re-educate everybody on some of these things. And when they always hearing about choir members doing this or the preacher taking the money, or you got to have a $100 line, $50 line, a $20 line,
Oh.
you know, and then, you know, you get your blessing. See, we done messed up the way that, you know, blessings are intangible sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, favor is a blessing. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
Right.
You rather
Favor
have
ain't
flavor.
fair.
You rather have favor than you know, money. You know what I'm saying? Like, God to do so many different things. Grace is renewed every day, and you know.
You know, something that I was reading today was the book of Jonah. And I always like to read the book of Jonah now.
Yeah.
My theological self will say that, you know, some critics don't like that book because they can't believe that Jonah was swallowed by a big fish.
Yeah.
Or, you know,
Yeah.
but God. No, I'm
But
joking.
God, and you know, scientific.
Look, we about to take up the offering in a little bit.
But God,
With an
and,
organ
you know,
at.
he could do anything. But one thing that just tickles me about Jonah, and it's like a mirror sometimes, is like he was like, never once did he say, I'm sorry for like turning around. I mean, obviously while he was in the well, he was like, okay, you know, I'll do what you say. But like at one point, like he was just like, nah, I'm not going to Nineveh because I know what you can do. And I mean, when he got there, he was just like, yeah, you guys are going to be destroyed in 30 days. Bye. You know, like he didn't even like say, repent, you know, turn from your wicked ways. Like he was already done, but like he knew of God's saving grace, and he knew that God, even though like the Assyrians were so hardcore and they did a lot against the Israelites, like they just totally like trashed them, like, you know, one you know, took their stuff,
Right.
beat them up, stuff like that. But you know, like, but like even in that, like that's why Jonah didn't want to go there. He's like, those are my arch enemies,
yeah.
you know.
Right,
But like
right.
as Christians, like we need to be able to look at our arch enemies, and when God says, I need you to go speak life into them, not turn around and say, bump that. You know what I mean? I'm going to forget
right.
that. You'll have grace tomorrow, but like, I'm not talking to her.
yeah.
Or I'm not talking to him because he stole my wife. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Ooh. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy. So Jonah had to be obedient. And, you know, and ultimately we need to be obedient because we have to watch out for that big fish.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows when you're not obedient, you're not walking in the fullness of what God has called you to.
Hey,
Hey, so I'm rocking with it. You know what I'm saying?
So-
I'm with it too. So
I
we
can
gonna
go on
ask
for
the
days.
ushers to come to the
Right.
front
Yeah.
And,
I'm
Nation.
sorry.
We're gonna start in the back, and you're gonna make your way down the center aisle, and the crowd.
Right. There's a
there's
speakers
four- there's-
offering, and then we got the
There's
general
four.
offering.
There's a parking lot offering.
Speakers is in the purple bag.
No.
Oh man, they come up in here trying to.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No,
I'm
no, no,
sorry.
no, no,
We
no,
done
no,
went
no,
different
no. I mean,
ways.
yeah, that's how it go down. That's how it go down. You know what I'm
So I
saying?
guess we're gonna rock into this next song. So let's go a little
Okay,
bit.
now this
I'm-
next song is my favorite off of Mr. Cold Stone's album. It's
Alright.
called Till the Wheels Fall Off, featuring Jacob from the Washington Project.
Yes, yes.
All right.
Now, get it.
Till the wheels fall off.
C1 Radio Show. Keep it crazy.
That's what it is.
Keep it loud.
You are listening to the C1 Radio Show.